The Lighthouse Dog. The storm arrived without warning. Waves crashed against the cliffs like giant fists. Rain hammered the windows of the old lighthouse overlooking the sea. Inside, an elderly lighthouse keeper named Thomas struggled to keep the beacon burning. For 40 years, Thomas had guided ships safely through dangerous waters. And for 12 of those years, he had never worked alone. Beside him sat a golden retriever named Max. Max wasn't just a dog. He was family. Every night, Thomas climbed the lighthouse stairs, and Max followed behind. Every morning, they watched the sun rise together from the rocky shore. The villagers often joked that Max knew the lighthouse schedule better than Thomas. Perhaps he did. One winter evening, Thomas collapsed while tending the light. His hand slipped from the railing. The lantern flickered. The lighthouse beacon began to fade. Max rushed to his side. Thomas barely opened his eyes. "Good boy," he whispered weakly. But Max knew something was wrong. Something very wrong. The nearest village was more than 2 miles away. The storm had already flooded parts of the road. No one would come until morning. And morning might be too late. Max barked. Thomas didn't move. He barked again. Nothing. Then the dog did something no one expected. He ran out into the storm. Rain soaked his fur instantly. The wind pushed against him. The rocky path was slippery and dangerous. But Max kept going, step after step, mile after mile. The villagers later said they couldn't believe what they saw. A drenched golden retriever sprinting through the storm, barking desperately at every door. Most people ignored the noise, until Max reached the home of a fisherman named Daniel. The dog scratched frantically at the door, then turned toward the lighthouse, then back toward Daniel. Again and again, Daniel grabbed his coat. Something's happened. Within minutes, several villagers followed Max into the storm. The dog led them through darkness and rain, straight to the lighthouse. They found Thomas unconscious beside the failing beacon. The village doctor acted quickly. An ambulance arrived. Thomas survived, but recovery would take time. Weeks passed. The lighthouse stood silent. The beacon remained dark, and Max waited. Every day, he sat outside the hospital. Nurses brought him food. Patients stopped to pet him. Children drew pictures of him. But Max cared about only one thing: Thomas. One afternoon, a nurse rolled a wheelchair outside. Max immediately recognized the scent. His tail began wagging so hard that his entire body shook. Thomas smiled, for the first time in weeks. "Hello, old friend." Max leaped gently into his lap. The people nearby wiped tears from their eyes. No one spoke. They didn't need to. The bond between them said everything. Months later, Thomas returned to the lighthouse. He moved more slowly now. His hair was whiter. His hands trembled. But every evening, he still climbed the stairs. And Max still followed behind. One step at a time. Together. Years later, when Thomas finally passed away peacefully in his sleep, the villagers wondered what would happen to Max. The answer came the very next evening. As the sun disappeared below the horizon, Max climbed the lighthouse stairs alone. He sat beside the beacon and watched the sea, just as he had done with Thomas for so many years. Night after night, he returned. The villagers often found him there, guarding the lighthouse, watching the waves, waiting beneath the light that Thomas had spent his life protecting. Then one morning, Max didn't come down. The villagers climbed the tower and found him peacefully resting beside the beacon, as if he had simply fallen asleep. A small smile seemed frozen on his face. The town buried Max beside Thomas, overlooking the sea, and to this day, visitors stop at the cliffside memorial. A simple stone bears their names. Below it are the words, "Some lights guide ships, others guide hearts." And everyone who reads it remembers the lighthouse keeper and the dog who refused to leave him behind.